everyone. This is Doug Kenny. I'm here with my coach and mentor, actor Andy McPhee, and we welcome you to Tales from the Rails. Tonight we have Paul and Mick with us. Hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah, going well, Doug. Yep, going good, mate. Good to see you.
G'day, guys. Good to see you two young gentlemen.
Yep.
I think last time I saw you, you all had hair and you had no grey. Hang on, wait a minute. Oh no, I haven't got any either.
Still got the hair.
Yeah, lucky you. And Paul still got it. I don't know what happened to me, mate. Must have been too tall, rubbing my head on the cabs. Good to see you guys. And just let everybody know where you're. Paul, you're in Adelaide, and Mick, you're in country Victoria. Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. A place called Haywood, near just over the border from Mount Gambier.
Okay, which is sort of. How far is that from Melbourne?
About 340 k's.
Okay, yeah. And Doug's in Arizona, and I'm in the freight yard at South Dynon. Well, not really.
Yeah, you wish.
Yeah, I know, right? I think that place just a ghost town now. It's still there, but I think it's a ghost town. I'm in LA, so this is really awesome. And like Doug said, it's very new what we're doing. It's just to really gather interest for people who love trains, and Doug decided we should do this, so we have, and we've got getting hold of drivers from around the world, starting off in Australia first, and here we are. So we got you're the third group of guys. We've had Anthony last week, and Paul and Mick are the second crew. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, didn't you say you had Mildy on?
Oh, sorry, Trevor. That's right. Yes, we did. We had Trevor. We nearly got half a mile end on here, mate. All right. Well, look. So I'm just going to start off, and Doug, you can sort of dive in any time. But first of all, thanks for coming on, guys, and making the time. Mick, when did you join the railways? What year was that?
Yeah, no, 72.
72, yeah?
Yeah.
And Paul, when did you join?
I joined in 1969.
Oh, wow. So you were there for a few years before. Did you start off in Loco as well?
I did, yes.
Oh,
Training
okay.
engineman.
So can I ask why I'm talking to you, Paul? Just to let people watching who sort of not quite familiar with it, what was the process back then to join and become a trainee engineman?
Well, quite different to what it is now, of course. But back then I left school, and then 6 days later I was in the railways, and that came about because I really didn't know what I wanted to do when I left school. And my next door neighbour was a trainee engineman. He was an English guy, and he was a real train fanatic, and happened to mention to me that they were looking for extra people. They wanted loco drivers, they wanted porters, and I mentioned it to my dad, and because I'd previously said to him I want to join the Navy, and he wouldn't have a bar of that, so he said, "Well, that's a bit fortuitous." He said, "Because my cousin Jack O'Loughlin," he said, "is the employment officer with the South Australian Railway, so I'll give him a call." And anyhow, 5 days later, I started in the railways as a trainee engineman at Mile End.
Wow, that was pretty quick.
Pretty so there was easy. No planning. Yeah, there was no planning. I didn't particularly. Well, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So this opportunity came up, and so 50 odd years later, I've now finished in that industry.
Wow. Yeah, and we'll get on to that a bit later, what you ended up doing. But yeah, it was very similar to myself. I loved trains. I had a little passion for trains. At Spencer Street in Melbourne, the old Spencer Street, that behind me, I think it's a B class maybe, they had a little model of that in Spencer Street, and when we used to go down and watch the trains take off, or one of our relatives was going somewhere on the Spirit or the Daylight, the Daylight Express, I saw that little model, and I always try to look in the cab. I wanted to see the little controls and how they did it. And then one night we're down there watching, I think it was the Southern Aurora go, and Dad said, "Let's go and see if we can get in the cab." And he had a word to the driver, and I got up, and I was like man, this is awesome. It was like someone revealed a secret to me, like that's how it moves, that's how it stops. It's like, wow. Then I forgot all about it. Didn't until I got the boot from Myers. That's how my railway career started. I got the sack, only there 6 months, and my dad got me the job there. Like he knew the CEO of Myers, and then because that didn't look good for him, like, and then I went, I think I'll go join the railways, and that's how I started. So it's funny how it all turns out, when we're not sure what we want to do, and you end up in a career. I didn't stay there for long, probably 13 or 14 years. And Mick, what about you? Did you want to be in the railways, or was it again just something, not sure?
Oh yeah, no, I hadn't intentionally. When I left school, I just went into Solver Paints and became a paint tinter. And did that for 6 years. Left the job at Solver Paints because they wouldn't pay me enough money. Went to another paint company and had an argument with the boss in my first 12 months. I used to fire up a bit in those days.
You did not. I don't remember any of that. I don't remember any of that.
I've quelled the fire a little bit these days. Heart attack can do that to you.
Yes, it can, mate. Good to see you still here too, mate. Good to see you got through all that.
Yep. And then when I went home, my uncle Jack, he was in the railways. He's from the steam days, joined in Peterborough, and then he was obviously working at Mile End at the time, and he used to live with us. So he just said to me, he said, "Are you interested in joining the railways?" And I said, "Well, it's a job, isn't it?" And so when he got an appointment for me in the Adelaide railway station to have an interview, and the guy, I can't even figure the name, wasn't the bloke, but he said to me, what I wanted to do, and did I want to be in traffic or loco? I said, "What on earth's traffic or loco?" And Jack says, "Do you want to be at the front of the train or the back of the train?" And I thought, "No, I want to be up the front, where all the action is." So, and then he just got employed with them and sent to Mile End. Became you start off as a cleaner, which was a crap job, but part of the idea was sort of going into the locos as they come off the main line, they come into the workshop. You get in there with all your rags and different things, cleaning engines down. I think a driver by the name of Paul Threadgold, so Thready. He was sort of like showing me what to do. Like I say, we're cleaning engines down, but you're supposed to be learning the parts of the engines and what they did and everything as well. So you weren't just in there as a cleaner as such. You was doing that, learning about the engines, and then doing your safe working rules and regulations and things before you could go into
when you did your safe working rules and all that, I mean, you can both answer this. How did they fit that in? Were cleaning for a certain part of the day and then you went and did schooling? Was it split days like that?
Yeah, no, there were days where, I'm trying to think whether they allocated separate days, because we're talking 50 years ago, really.
I know.
They had days allocated for when you had to go do your safe working rules and regs.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Paul?
Only for trainee enginemen at that time. So we would walk from the diesel depot across to Mile End passenger platform and catch the rail car in, and where the Festival Theatre is now, Andy, you remember that they used to have Nissan huts there, and that's where the institute was, and they had all these old steam drivers who'd been there forever. And when I started, all the tuition you got apart from the safe working was on steam engines, even though diesel locos had been around for, a couple of decades. They did all of the instruction on steam engines because they didn't have the material available to be able to teach the diesel locos, and these people wouldn't have known anyhow. So I think it was 1 or 2 days a week for half a day, and then we catch the train back and then continue on with our. So once we got then to be a qualified trainee engineman, if you will, so you could go onto the locomotive, all of the other training to become a driver was purely voluntarily. So there was no obligation. If you didn't want to do it, some guys stayed as firemen all their working life. and that changed some time later. But in the first instance, if you had to go on your day off to go and learn your locomotive mechanical rules and all those sorts of things. You had to do it in your own time back then.